morning all. I am Ram Kumar Sharma from CSC department. Today I am going to elaborate about the characteristics of big data. There are few characteristics of big data on which basis of which we can identify which data we have to process or which data we have to compute for the analysis. These are the few characteristics of big data. First one is velocity, second one is volume, third one is variety, and fourth one is veracity. Let's discuss the first point, volume. Volume means how much data is generated. Nowadays, organization has become generating the large amount of data on the basis of their uh, organizations, what the users are working. The data size may be vary from the very big amount from TBs to PBs to EBs. EBs means exabytes. ठीक है? Then next, second point is velocity. What do you mean by velocity? Velocity means simply the produced data at very fast rate. Means at which speed the data is going to produce, or we are generating the data at what speed. That is basically the velocity. The velocity means how fast produced data. Nowadays organizations or human beings or systems are generating huge amount of data at very fast rate. And the third one is variety. Variety means different forms of data. Data can be of different forms. The data can be of structured, semi-structured, and unstructured. So the variety is the characteristic on the basis of which we can identify what kind of data is going to be generated. So variety means different forms of data. The organizations or human beings or systems are generating the huge amount of data very fast in different data formats. Next, the veracity. Veracity is the important one, so we have to focus on this. Veracity means the correctness of the data. Means what the data is generating, whether the data is corrected, we can use it, or it can be utilized by our computer system. What we have to focus on it. So veracity means the quality and correctness or the accuracy of captured data. Out of 4 V's, it is the most important data type or big data solution. ठीक है? Next, we are going towards the next topic, types of digital data. अभी initially मैंने आपसे बताया there are 3 types of data which can be generated by the digital devices. First one is structured data, second one is unstructured data, and third one is semi-structured data. What does these types of data means? Means when the user is going to focus on the internet, or he is browsing or she is browsing some data, what kind of data is going to generate? First we have to look on that data, because if we cannot understand what kind of data, then how we can understand the data is feasible for us or not. So first we have to monitor the type of the data. So first we have to discuss about the structured data. What is structured data? Any data that can be stored, accessed, and processed in the form of fixed format terms as structured data. Means structured data is that data which is in fixed format, or you can say that the data which is in tabular format, or we can easily observe that data where the columns, where the rows, or where the cells in which the data is populated. So the structured data is any data that is stored, accessed, or processed in the fixed format. Second one, over the period of time, talent in computer science is achieve greater success in developing techniques for working with such kind of data where the format is as well known in advance, and also deriving the value of it. Means nowadays the technology is more advanced, so before generating the data we can also identify what kind of data is going to be generated from this particular approach. And the third one, nowadays we are focusing on issues where the size of data grows to the huge extent. Typical size are being in the range of multiple zettabytes. Means the devices which we are using or the population is using, then they are generating the data in very excessive amount or very huge amount. It can be up to the multiple zettabytes. So we can understand or we can think about it, and we have to know about it. The 10 to the power 21 bytes are equal to 1 zettabyte, or 1 billion of terabyte forms a zettabyte. Means 1 zettabyte contains 10 to the power 21 bytes. So it is the huge amount what we have to going to process, or which is generated by the human beings. ठीक है? Second one is unstructured data. Before that, we have to understand the example of structured data. What structured data look like? Structured data example, like this is a table, and the table contains the employee ID, employee name, gender, department, and salary. So this all details are in a tabular format, and we can easily identify that the employee ID 7465, name Sushil Roy, gender male, department admin, and the salary is in some amount. So the structured data is our favorable data which is going to be used by the organization. Why it is favorable? Because we directly do modification, we do transactions, we do security on the structured data. While in other cases, we have to convert that data in structured format or a fixed format, so that we can implement certain things or certain security on that particular data. Let's talk about the second one, unstructured data. What is unstructured data? Unstructured data means the data which is not in fixed format, or you can say that every time we are going to generate the data is in different format. So we are not sure that what kind of structure or what kind of things are going to achieve, or we are getting the things. So this kind of data is unstructured data. Unstructured data, there are few points. Any data with unknown forms or structure is classified as unstructured data. Means the format is not known and the structure is not known, then the data is unstructured data. Second one, in addition to the size being huge, unstructured data poses multiple challenges in terms of processing for deriving the values of it. That is the main concern when we are having the data which is in unstructured format. If the data size is low, then we can easily find out, or we have to do some practice to find out the things out of that data. But when the data is in bigger amount, in some GBs, TBs, or zettabytes or exabytes, then that is the major task to get it that data in fruitful manner, or to pick out the fruitful things from that unstructured data. That is the basic or foremost challenge for handling the unstructured data. Third one, a typical example of unstructured data is heterogeneous data source containing a combination of simple text file, image, and videos. Means unstructured data is also obtaining some characteristics that the data is heterogeneous. Heterogeneous means there are different type of data exist in the same data type. Means there can be some text files, images, or videos, or might be some anything else which can be in the unstructured data. So that is the major problem, how to handle, how to pick out the things from the unstructured data. That is our main concern. And the third one, the organization have wealth of data available with them, but unfortunately they do not know how to derive the value of it, and the data is in its raw form or unstructured format. So these things are written over there are the same which I have talked earlier. The problem is that the organization is having the data, but the data is in unstructured format. We don't know how to process that data, how to utilize that data, because the data is heterogeneous and it is the combination of several kind of file formats. So the examples of unstructured data are like Google search. When you are searching something on Google, then it will give you all the possible results. It will provide you all the possible results which are available on the internet. So all the possible results can contain images, videos, text or simple text or any other files. So out of them you have to filterize, or you have to filter the things which are in structured format. Now the next one is semi-structured data. As name suggests, semi-structured data will have partial structured data, means the data is not in proper format, but you can say that the data is in semi-structured format. Semi-structured format means the data is in following some structure. Like first point, semi-structured data can contain both the forms of data, means semi-structured data can also have structured data or unstructured data. Second one, we can see semi-structured data as the structured in the form, but it is actually not defined with the example a table definition in relational DBMS. Means कि the semi-structured data is in some structure, but we cannot define it in any table or in any RDBMS format. So we are telling, or we are considering that kind of data as semi-structured data. Now next, the examples of semi-structured data are personal data stores in XML file. You know what is XML file? Extensible markup language. In that markup language we can create our own tags to recognize the data or to understand by the any other person what we are going to store, on that particular machine. So this is the example of semi-structured data that is not in a proper structured or proper rows and table column, but this is partially in a structure, because these all things are in a particular manner. So here we have to understand, or we have learned about three digital type of data. One is structured data. Structured data is what? Which is containing tabular format, or the data is in rows and columns format. Second one is semi-structured data. Sorry, unstructured data. Unstructured data is what? The data which is combination of text, image and video format, or you can say that the data which is generated by the search from any browser, that data is known as unstructured data. And the semi-structured data is the data which is not in proper format, but we can consider it some format, like this example. These are the three types of data we can use, or we can define the digital data in three type of data. Okay, next, big data analytics. What is big data analytics? Analytics means what the data you are having, or what the data you are generating from the multiple digital devices. We have to process that data, and after processing we have to convert that particular data in a structured format so that we can use it in our work. So big data analytics is the process of collecting, organizing and analyzing the large set of data to discover patterns and other useful information. So the companies are doing big data analysis or analytics, on the basis of which they are considering, or they are identify the pattern which are going to be followed, the format which is inside the data that can be feasible to have in the organization for the further research purpose, or we can identify some fruitful information from that data. So the next thing is, what is the requirement for analytics? What is the requirement for analytics? to analyze the such large amount of data, we need some good processors or machines which can compute that particular data. So collectively these processes are separate but highly integrated function high performance analytics. And the third one, using big data tools and software enable an organization to process extremely large volume of the data a business has collected to determine which data is relevant and can be analyzed to drive better businesses decision in the future. Means the same चीज़ अभी आपको पहले बताई गई थी कि बिग डेटा एनालिटिक्स में क्या करते हैं. What we are going to do in the big data analytics, we are collecting the data, we are maintaining the process, how we can use that data for further processes or for the research purpose in the future. So we are having some tools on the basis of which we can filter out the data, we can sort the data, and we can make the data as fruitful that the data size will be reduced and the fruitful information can be achieved in the form of result. Okay. Next, the challenges. What are the various kind of challenges which we are facing to analyze that big data? There are certain challenges because we have to first focus the challenges which we are facing, because these are the hurdles which we have to remove to successfully process our data. First one, the most organization big data analysis is challenge. Consider the sheer volume of the data and the different format of the data that is collected across the entire organization, and the many different ways different type of data can be combined, contrast and analyzed to find the pattern and other useful business information. Means the main problem is that what we are having or what we are collecting the data, that data will be in heterogeneous format, so we cannot tell the data is useful after collecting, but we have to collect first, we have to collect all the data, and then after we have to convert it in some particular fixed format so that the data is used by the analytics tools and we can get the desired result. The second one is, the first challenge is the breaking down data soils to access all the data in organization stored in different places and often in different systems. Means the main challenge is that the big amount of data or huge amount of data, how we can going to separate that data in small pieces, because our machines are not capable enough to process that data simultaneously, which is in zettabyte of size. So what we are doing, we are converting that data, or we are breaking that data in small chunks so that the data can be processed or computed. Okay? And the third one, the second challenge in creating platform that can pull the unstructured data as easily as structured data. And the second challenge is that how we are going to maintain or how we are going to build a platform which is able to create or which is able to pull out the data which is in big size. And the third one, this massive volume of data is typically so large that it's difficult to process using traditional database and software methods. And the third challenge is more than difficult. What is that? The massive amount of data, how we are going to challenge, how we are going to process that data, because the traditional methods are not capable enough to process that data particularly. And the next, applications of big data. Nowadays, even almost all the applications, almost all the fields which you are going to use, whether that is healthcare, whether that is stock market or some retail or e-commerce, all the things will going to generate data which is in excessive amount. So These are the application, or you can say that these are the drivers of big data. Drivers means the things which going to generate the big data. So what are the diagrams? By the what are the big data drivers? From the diagram you can understand. First one is healthcare, means any kind of healthcare system, even it is related to insurance, it is related to hospitals, it is related to hospital management system, all the things is going to generate a massive amount of data. Second one is finance. Finance means whether you are maintaining or you are having the loan from the bank, so bank have to maintain all the records, and there are several number of persons who are doing same kind of thing. So finance is also a big key factor to generate the big data. Third one is retail, online shopping, retail shopping. Fourth one is media and entertainment, all the OTT platforms on which you are going to surf, on you which you are going to watch movies, all those are the application or the drivers of big data. And next one is e-commerce. E-commerce means all the online platform from where you can buy, sell the things. All these are the examples of big data application. Next one is telecom. Telecom is the big market. Jio, Airtel, Vodafone, BSNL, all these are big giants of this telecom market. So these are also generating a huge amount of data. Education. Education is also a big factor because education starts from the kindergarten level to the doctorate level, and all the theses, all the studies are nowadays online. So the data is generated in massive amount, and this is also a application or also a driver which is going to generate a big data. And the last one is travel. Travel is most popular industry from nowadays because everyone is so frustrated, and he or she will spend some time within a week or within a month to refresh her or his self, so that he can do the work more efficiently. So these are the few examples of big data drivers or applications of big data. Thank you.